You're listening to Sweet Life, the show that helps you find and walk your own special path. I'm Brooke Peterson. Here on Sweet Life, we like to explore unconventional career possibilities, self-discovery, professional development, and more. Whatever helps and whatever works to make it sweet. We are wrapping up our series of landing that job, and I am so happy that we have Joumana Barakat. The Foothills Workforce Investment Board is a job resource center located in Pasadena, right up the street. They specialize in services for the future employee, I like to say, offering a job search resource lab, workshops and seminars, layoff recovery assistance, veteran services, youth services, and more, believe it or not. And over the past couple of months, we've been discussing landing a job, starting first with preparing for the job hunt, which was fascinating, and the resume, which we learned a lot about. And today we take it to the next step, which is the almighty interview. So the interview, yay, if you've gotten this far, you're doing something right?
Yes,
So one thing you said in your last interview discussing the resume was that the resume is not the end-all be-all. The resume is designed to do one thing, and that is to get you an interview. So it would seem the interview is the end-all be-all. No pressure.
No.
So how do you suggest for people to prepare for this interview that they've worked so hard to get?
First, thank you for having me back.
Sure.
It's always a pleasure. Another thing, I was on my way out, and I said, I'm going to PCC across the street to do a radio thing on interviews, and the operation manager, Diane Russell, looked at me, and she said, remember one thing. I said, what? She goes, an interview is nothing but a conversation. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, my entire years doing this, I never used this phrase, so I'm quoting her. Yeah. But actually, this is what it is. To get to the interview is a big deal. To be prepared for the interview is the bigger deal. We work with people from all walks of life, from all professions, from all educational background, and it is amazing that it don't matter how long you've been doing what you're doing, acing an interview or doing it in an interview is a completely different ball game. So when we say prepare for the interview, all we're saying is that, what everybody knows, research the company, go in there and ask yourself questions and be ready to answer them. That is all true, and it's important to research the company. What is more important is to know what is coming in the pipelines of the company.
Oh, how do you know that?
Everything is out there. All the information is available on the website and the digitalized libraries. Right? So everything is out there for people to find out about. Companies brag, unless it's industry secrets, brag about what is their future like, what are they projecting in the coming 2 years to do. So when you want to go into this interview, be prepared to speak to this company in a knowledgeable way about what is it they do and why you're interested to come work for them. Because they're going to ask you that question. What made you apply for this job? And, we've heard everything. We've heard the answers that go on forever, and we heard the answers that are not the proper answers, okay? So prepare your knowledge of what this company is all about. Know who's going to interview you, because that is also part of preparation. If you're going in just to talk to the HR department, that's a completely different ballgame, because these people are the people who just know the general picture of the job. They only know what is on the job description, what's been given to them, and their job is to check your overall attitude, motivation, if you can do attitude, and if you can fit into that category to move you to the next step. If you're going in directly to interview with a hiring manager, the person who's going to make the decision, not a pre-screening, these are the people who are going to ask you the reality of the job. These are the people who are going to ask you, what is the value you can add to this? And this should be the attitude everybody goes in with. When you go into interview, and I talk about this because I sit on many interviews. I help companies pre-screen. We do our own pre-screening at the office. This is not about you, believe it or not.
No.
No. The interview is about what is it you're going to do for me?
Sure.
What is it I'm paying for? What is the return on my investment as an employer? We are all very well organized. We are all people's persons. We are all team players. We are all this cliche. People start talking like that. We all look at each other like, seriously? Like you're going to walk in here and tell us you're a cheat and a lie and you just need a job. Manipulating the interview is not up to you. Your job to go in there and answer the questions, but you have to answer them in a very intelligent manner. You have to answer them from what they are looking for as what value added you are bringing. If I'm bringing you in to be my office manager, okay, yeah, it is important that you are organized and you know how to file and you know how to do all of that. That's, part of the job duties. But also I am hiring a person who's going to come in here and either promote my operation or make things better, make life easier for me as a director or administrator. If you're coming in to be the janitor for the office, you're going to show me how you're going to do things, when you're going to do them, how your operation is not going to interrupt my operation, and so on and so forth. So when people go in there and they think, well, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 20 years. So if you hire me, I will be a great asset to you. We usually look at each other, as panels or as we think about, says who. So
how do you prove it?
You have to prove it. I tell everybody there is one simple way to answer all interview questions. And it's bring it into a slam dunk mode.
Okay.
So the typical question is that, why do you want to work for us? What makes you think you can do this job? Why should I hire you? Tell me something about yourself. Why did you leave all the questions are, can be answered in one simple format, believe it or not. You ask me, let's say, JB, why should I hire you to be a radio announcer? Instead of me saying, because I've been doing it for 10 years and I'm so good at it and I got great reviews and I'm loved by my audience.
That sounds good.
I have fans. Yeah, of course. I mean, what else are you going to tell me? I had 3 shows that were a bust and my people didn't show up to do the show and my technicians didn't do it. You're not going to tell me that. Okay, you're going to tell me that working for Lancers Radio as an announcer and a person who conducts interviews for 2-3 years, my duties were to do this, and that. And from that, I can draw, and you have to connect it to what you're applying for. So I will look at you and say, wow, my God, she did all of that, and she can do it here. So let's see how we're going to move forward. Your answers they ask you about your strength. They ask you about your weakness. These are like the very general questions. And every answer can be brought in this, make it a full circle for the employer. Answer the question. Don't go on. There is no hidden agenda. When they ask a question, we're just asking a question. Don't read too much. Oh, what are they trying to get out of this? Let me think. She asked me this because she wants to know that. Just answer the question, answer it in a way that shows the value added that you're going to bring into this company, but they have to determine that's a value added.
So when they ask you what your weakness is, there's no agenda there? There's no... How do you answer
this is my interpretation of such a question when we ask a question. No candidate come in being the 100% candidate for the job. There is no such thing out there. We all know that when employers bring in new hires, there has to be a training curve. Okay? So if as a job seeker, you look at this job description that the employer put down there and you say, oh my God, they need somebody who know advanced Excel. Okay. And I know Excel. I know how to use it. I'm just probably elementary Excel. But you got to the interview process, which means this employer have seen something about you that there's potential right there. So maybe you want to bring it up not as a weakness, but you want to bring it up so you can have this conversation about it. You might say something like, on my previous job, I've done Excel on this, and this level, and I've used spreadsheets and did all of that. My understanding that your position require advanced Excel, so what I've been doing, I've been taking this course at PCC, or I've been using this tutorial. So don't leave anything unturned. Okay, don't walk out saying, thank God they didn't ask me if I have advanced Excel. Trust me, it's going to come in certain conversation. If you are not true and sure about what, how you're going to tackle something, you can bring it up as your weakness. Also, your strength, answer them the same way. If you want to tell them you're very organized, tell them, I think I'm very organized, working in this position, doing this, and that. I was able to do this and that. Just give them an answer and give them a justification to what you're saying.
Okay. Now, do you find that to be a major mistake that most people make? Is that a common mistake? That
What is?
They're sort of using the general people person,
Yes.
organizer.
Yes.
And
So
that's a quick fix.
That's not going to get you anywhere, because everybody's going to walk in and say, I am organized, I'm a
Right.
good communicator,
Right.
I'm all of that.
But how much of the interview is also listening?
Depends on the interviewer. See, this is what nobody can predict. You walk
You have to
into
be
that
flexible.
room. You walk into that room, and you really don't know who you're dealing with until you are in that room. So you have to go in prepared to do everything. There are interviews where you go sit in there. I've been through that, and the other person, is not really interviewing you. Is telling you all these things and and you don't have, you can say one word. I don't know if that's qualifies as an interview, because
Yeah.
you leave and you go, what just happened?
Yeah.
Was I being
I've had one of
interviewed?
those before.
Yeah, I was like, what just happened? You have to be prepared. A good listener is very important, especially if, they're giving you some feedback on some. They usually don't give you feedback, but if they're moving through the interview process by telling them about another product, service, something they do, you have to be a very good listener and not be, trying to analyze everything they're saying. But you have to be very perceptive, because the way you're going to carry your conversation and the way you're going to be perceived is how you're going to communicate it. A lot of times we say something and we say, that's not what I meant. And, they understood it the wrong way. You cannot go back and say it. That's why we tell people you have to exercise communication. You have to prepare. You have to say it out loud. You have to put these questions out there. Have somebody, mock interview you, or talk to yourself, videotape yourself, go back, listen to it, see what you're saying, so your message is perceived in a positive way.
Great. Okay, well, we are just getting started with this. So many more questions. You're listening to Sweet Life. I am Brooke Peterson. We are speaking with Joumana Barakat from the Foothills Workforce Investment Board, right up the street. A fabulous resource for anybody local. We are streaming live from lancerradio.org. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back and continuing this conversation of the almighty interview. Hello! Happy Thursday! You're listening to Sweet Life, the show that helps you find your path and then to walk it. Aye, that's the hard part, I like to say. But we're here to help. So, today we are talking with Joumana Barakat from the Foothills Workforce Investment Board. And speaking of walking that path, we're trying to get us all a good job. And today we are speaking about the interview. And to continue our conversation, say you've done your preparation, you've done your research, you know who you're speaking to, you know some upcoming details about the company you're interviewing for. You've done your rehearsals and you've got your questions. How do you walk into a room?
You walk into a room looking good.
Looking good. Feeling good.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how important it is to look good walking into an interview. The way you are dressed, the way you are groomed, the way you have your if you're a lady or a person who likes to wear makeup, how is your makeup looking like? What are you gonna do with your piercing? What you're gonna do with your tattoos? With those big earrings that people, I don't know, put in their ears? All of that. That is so crucial. I'm the kind of person, you walk in the room and the first thing I'm going to look at is your shoes.
The shoes.
But that's
for women too?
For everybody.
I don't know any woman who polishes her shoes except for me.
Okay, I polish my shoes too. So I don't.
Thanks, Dad.
But I'm saying that, but because that's me. Nobody knows about me. Now everybody knows about that. But I notice that about people. I notice nails. I notice jewelry. I notice hairdos. I notice if you're really not put together well. So, but that is me. Do I judge people according to that? I'm going to lie to you if I tell you that if a person does not look as good as their resume look qualification-wise,
Makes you wonder.
It can sway either way. So we say all that to say, make sure you know what these people who work there look like and dress one notch above that. People tell you, well, I know everybody at Caltech go to work in their shorts and their jeans and they're comfortable, but you're not working there yet. You're going there to apply to work at an academic environment like that. You have to dress professionally to go apply there. Or if you're applying for a position to work for PCC or something like that, you have to dress professionally and provide, before you walk into the employer. Now, if the dress is very casual, because we have employers whose you have to be dressed, not down, but in, jeans, and probably they want you to wear their own clothes, especially in the retail industry. This is very, very, very big. Let's say you're looking for a summer job to go work for H&M or, any of the Banana Republic or Macy's, anything. You know how impressive it is for me as a manager, and I did work in retail back then in the day, for somebody to come in to interview and they're wearing the lines we carry. That was like, wow, that is so impressive. But also you have to dress with taste. As much as hip-hop this world is, and everybody's, chic is different now from what it used to be. When you get to the interview process, I'm wearing a pink suit today.
You look very nice today.
Thank you.
Everybody, she looks very nice.
Okay, but I would not wear this to go interviewing.
Now, what's wrong with this?
No, this is a casual suit. Okay.
Okay.
I don't feel like anybody would take me seriously. If
Really?
I go
I'm in trouble.
Okay. You want to stay with colors, neutral colors. You want to stay with colors that does not draw attention. Okay. Instead of me walking in the room and I'm saying, oh, what a beautiful pink suit she has on. She looks very professional. Have a seat. Let me focus on what you say. That is why when we talk about makeup, nails, jewelry, piercing, all of that, that's all distraction. That all tells things about you that might not be true. Okay, because we live in a world that judges everybody by the way they look. And you just have to, I tell everybody, don't rock the boat until you're on the boat. Once you are hired, if you want to put back this earring on and it is not against company policy, then get that job, then go back and put that earring on. If you like to wear your hair in whichever way, but that's not the look that we advise you to go interview in, be aware of stuff like that. Let's get to the job. Let's go into this room, have this conversation with this person or with this panel, and let's focus on what I have to bring to the table. Okay? And look good doing it.
Yeah. No, okay, that sounds great. But I imagine that's also, and you already sort of touched on it, it sounds like it's probably also a matter of knowing who your audience is. Because I bet you I couldn't get a job in lots of places because I look too conservative. I'm just not cool enough, I don't have different colored hair.
You see, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Knowing who you're talking to.
also, people take it to the extreme.
Yeah.
All right. You cannot take it to the extreme, because you might think, I'm going in to interview for, I don't know, another radio station that is very upbeat and all of that. And you walk in and your knowledge is that you're familiar with the personalities who are on the radio. But you walk in and you are going to be interviewing with the editors or the chief of staff or somebody who's not at a table with microphones like this. Mm-hmm. So, you have to anticipate and you have to be middle ground.
Right.
Okay. You have to fit the environment you're applying for, but you have to be very careful, how to fit. Don't go to extremes to acquire a look, because you might not be perceived right.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so we talked a little bit about shoes, nails, manicures apparently do matter. I'm glad to hear that. It wasn't wasted money.
Yeah, but not nails that are 2 inches long.
You're right. Yes.
With or different colors.
Yeah. So somewhat, classy.
Yes.
Keep it classy, people. And okay, so you're in the room, you're looking good, you're prepared. So body language.
Body language is so important.
Name a few things.
Let's talk first about eye contact.
Okay.
Eye contact is so important. You have to be looking at this person the whole time. Do not look at the ceiling or the floor or your hands or any of that. The way you sit in an interview is so important. Now, I don't know why people wrote books about you have to sit up straight, have your back straight, your feet next to each other, your hands in your lap. If I sit in that position, I cannot speak. Okay, honestly, because that's such a rigid position. Sit in a comfortable way. Okay, I'm not saying put your feet up on the table, but sit in a way that is comfortable for you, because also you need to breathe while you're doing all of that.
Right.
Continue to breathe.
Yeah, stay relaxed.
Sit in a comfortable. If you use your hands to speak, like I do, use your hand, but you have to have control over how you use your body to speak. Continue to look at this person. If there is multiple people in the room, do not focus on one person. Okay? You have to make sure that you give equal attention to everybody in the room, and you make contact with every other person in the room who is on the interview panel. Because there's always this one kind face that, when you walked in, probably looked at you, or they were like looking at you and nodding a lot and smiling, and you think, this is my savior, I'm going to talk to this person, this is going to sway it. They probably can sway it, but also you have to be very careful to include everybody. Handshakes are very important.
I am such handshakes.
Excuse me. I tell people, just shake hands, okay? Don't do a flimsy whimsy,
oh my gosh,
one of those, or don't, somebody said, you have to have a heavy grip. Just shake hands, okay? Shake hands with the person. Make sure, I know we're nervous. We are usually, when we're nervous,
what if your hands are cold?
We sweat. Don't worry about your hands being cold, as long as they're not sweaty and gross.
What if your hands are sweaty and gross?
If they're sweaty, as you're going into the interview, pat your hand on your suit in a way, I carry tissues, which is that's my security blanket, but I put it away before I walk in. Carry a tissue before you go in there, and just shake hands if they offer to shake hands. A lot of times people nowadays, nobody wants to touch anybody, everyone, unless there's sanitizers all over the room. So, you have also the same way they're reading your body language, you have to be, ready to read their body language. They're receiving you, they stand up, they shake hands, you just shake hands. Don't do any of the flimsy, don't do one of those, I'm a go-getter. People say a lot can be said about the way you shake hands. Yes, you can, yes, but don't put too much thinking and effort in it. Just let it.
And honesty. Just
let it flow.
Let
it flow. And people go in there and they say, I'm nervous, my heart is beating, I'm shaking.
That's another thing. How do you control that?
You can't control that, but you have to understand that that's just a feeling. Nobody can see it. Your heart can be going 100 miles an hour, but if you really look, it's not pumping out there. Nobody can see it. We know you are nervous. Okay? We know you are nervous. Usually, if you are really prepared and you're focused, once you feel that you gave a good answer to the first question, your nervousness level, levels. And people who conduct interviews, some of them are, kind enough to put the person in a situation where, really you don't have to be nervous. Let's just talk about your qualifications and all of that. Interviews.
Hopefully they're compassionate enough to be cool.
Look, interviews this is the hardest thing to predict, because every employer does things differently. Every person does things differently. Yes, the questions might be the same exact questions, but you also have to be able to read your environment and know what kind of situation you're in.
Fantastic. So much great information. As usual, my lady, JB, thank you so much for coming back in.
Thank you.
For more information about the Foothills Workforce Investment Board, go to their website, www.fwibworks.org. It is full of fantastic information and resources. You've been listening to Sweet Life. I'm Brooke Peterson. You can like us on Facebook by searching Sweet Life Radio Show. Until next time, make it sweet.